Hey folks, it's Barry. I'm back from the All Good Things Star Trek podcast. I want to give you episode 4 of Star Trek Discovery's Canon Eggs tonight. I know it's been a couple of days since the episode aired. I apologize for the delay, but let's get right into it. The episode was called The Butcher's Knife Cares Not for the Lamb's Cry. It's the second longest episode title in Star Trek history, just behind For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky from TOS. So a little bit of Canon Egg right there. First one, there's not too many in this episode. Korvan 2 was the name of the system that the mining colony was at. Korvan 2 was also the name of the planet in Star Trek The Next Generation episode called New Ground. You may remember it was an Alexander episode, probably easily forgettable, but there were a pair of creatures that were made by puppets that were being transported by the Enterprise. They were indigenous creatures that were endangered, and they were being transported to a new colony. They were little puppet creatures. Anyway, they were from Korvan 2, so it's the same planet that this mining colony was located in. Kind of interesting. We had a classic Trek callback, 3 things in a row, 2 historical references and a made-up reference. You had one to be remembered with the Wright brothers, Elon Musk, which is a new thing, I mean, at least for this time period, and Zefram Cochrane. Of course, a callback to Zefram Cochrane, the inventor of warp drive, which we've seen in several Star Trek episodes and movies. There was a quick reference. It's not really a Star Trek canon egg, but there's a character or a crew member named Zaphod, Ensign Zaphod, Lieutenant Zaphod, I can't remember exactly. Now, it may have just been a throwaway line, but there is, I'm sure everyone will remember or know about from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. One of the characters is Zaphod Beeblebrox. He had 2 heads. Anyway, there may be a callback. That's more of probably just a little throwaway thing there. Had nothing to do with Trek, but had to do with science fiction. And finally, House Mokai, which was one of the Klingon houses that's been mentioned. I don't think we've heard that or heard it at least specified before. That is the same Klingon house that in the episode of Voyager called The Killing Game, when the Hirogen had taken over the Enterprise and were making the Voyager, and were making the crew run through holodeck simulations and being killed and regenerated and all that. At one point, Captain Janeway was made up to, or was surgically altered to look like a Klingon, and she was fighting on the holodeck and said to be of the House Mokai. So there's a callback there. It's nice that they're bringing in the houses of the Klingons into the canon, sort of solidifying who these different families are. They've rattled off several so far on Discovery. It'll be interesting at some point if there's a throwaway line to a House of Moog, a House of Martok, maybe even a House of Kor, Koloth, Kang, Krug, any of these Star Trek Klingons that we've seen in later generations of Star Trek. Anyway, that's all for this week. It was very quick, not very many. We'll join you next week on episode 5. Don't forget, the All Good Things Star Trek podcast, AGT Pod, is our Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, allgoodthings.podbean.com, and of course, agtpod@gmail.com for email. We'll be having a new episode coming to you really soon. See you later.